Hi, my name is ChrisR. And I would like to talk with you all about the subject that I feel best personifies me. That subject would be a book, but unfortunately, I like reading a lot of books. So one book would not be the best thing, I feel like, to represent me. But unfortunately, I have a variety of different topics that I enjoy reading about. So I'll just take 3 books from one of each of my favorite topics and move on from there and just tell you guys about it. And the first topic that I like is World War II. You know, my grandmother and my mother, they both take after the German side of my family, and that to me is a very interesting time period. My grandmother shared with me and the rest of my siblings about my great-grandparents that took part in Operation Barbarossa against the Russians. And that was always interesting to me and kind of made me go out and look up more about World War II in the European theater, especially on the German side of things. But unfortunately, there's another aspect of World War II that I haven't looked into as much, which is the Pacific theater involving the Americans versus the Japanese. Fortunately, I just got a book for my birthday a couple months ago that I finally got around to reading from my mother, called A True Test for Courage, Fly the Woods by James Bradley. And it detailed the American pilots and the moral dilemmas they faced against the Axis. I put quotations there because they were actively firebombing the Axis, specifically the Japanese civilians, and that's an important aspect of that book because it detailed how the Americans were so upset that the Japanese, and especially the Germans, were attacking, were killing civilians, and here's the American forces now firebombing Japanese civilians that have nothing to do with the war, and they just happen to be there. Detailed American pilots strafing Japanese civilians just because they were in the way. I feel like that was an interesting book to read about, to pick up the other aspect of war that we tend to gloss over. And the second book that I'd like to share with you all is one of my favorite books that I actually read because my brother was really lazy and just left it around. And that is George Orwell's Animal Farm. I especially like political systems. When I was younger and more foolish, I wanted to be a politician, but I have a speech problem, so that's not really working out very well. But maybe after this class, I'll be able to handle that. And so George Orwell's Animal Farm, it details Orwell's retelling in Animal Farm of the Soviet Union, specifically Stalin and Trotsky. And I feel like it's an interesting book, and it can really detail what can go wrong with communism. We give so much control to the state, to maybe one person. So I feel like that's an acceptable warning to things to come. And the third book that I enjoy is actually Crime and Punishment, because I took it upon myself actually to read more philosophy, because I guess I wanted to look educated. But I didn't want to read mainstream philosophy, so I said, oh, I'll look at Russians. And so I took to Russian philosopher Fyodor Dostoevsky and Anton Chekhov. And they're specifically 19th century Russian philosophers. And I chose that time period because it really details the struggle of the common man. That's during the Industrial Revolution, where there's such a class divide between the rich and the very poor. I feel like it would really help me understand the struggles of basic man and the basic needs that man faces. And so those 3 books I feel like tie together to represent this one super book, like an encyclopedia that details my persona to you all. Thank you.